2024 the year of elections for Sahel Juntas. 2024 was scheduled to be the year that Mali and Burkina Faso, both of which are Sahel countries, will hold their presidential elections. It appears that the juntas led by Assimi Goïta and Ibrahim Traoré are not willing to bring an end to their administrations that are considered to be transitional. Following a series of unexpected events in the calendar, which occurred after the coup led by Colonel Assimi Goïta, the transition process in Mali was prolonged for a period of 24 months, beginning on March 26, 2022. In Burkina Faso, the transition charter that was adopted on October 14, 2022, set the end of the transition for July 1, 2024. This was a few weeks after Captain Ibrahim Traoré gained control that the transition charter was adopted. The deadline for the Malian has already been reached. Regarding the authorities of Burkina Faso, who are 2 months away from the expiration date, they have stated that the organization of elections is not a priority for them. These electoral pledges had been made to the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, an organization that Mali and Burkina Faso have closed the door on. The reason for this is apparently because they no longer feel obligated to meet the standards of the organization. When it comes to the opinions of the nation, the people have been provided with a kind of representation in the shape of national assemblies. Not only are those who advocate for the inter-Malian dialogue attempting to make light of the fact that the transitional dates will not be reached, but they are also urging, in one of the ideas that were put forward during the regional phase, that the transition should be prolonged from 12 months to 36 months. According to one suggestion, the colonels could continue to wield power for almost 7 years if they were to reach the highest possible estimate. Another option suggests that they may even become generals. In the country of Burkina Faso, the Assemblée Législative de Transition, ALT, has reached a consensus that a new National Assembly should be held simultaneously. Following a declaration made by Traoré in which he explained that he had no desire in power, the participants in the initial meetings were given a document prior to the debates. This document reserved the leadership role during the transitional phase for the captain. Junta enthusiasts are persuaded that they are inquiring, what elections and for whom? Because they are certain that their heroes are legitimate members of the Popular 2.0 movement. In addition, should they employ photos that are either phony or real in their campaign? An image that is being circulated on social media networks in Burkina Faso is announcing a people's meeting in support of the transition. The slogan, "No to Elections," is written in red letters on the image. Election campaigns that are both expensive and disastrous, marked by complicated speeches and procedures that are incomprehensible to the majority of voters. Is this attributable to a lack of coordination on the part of the movement that supports Ibrahim Traoré? No to the national assemblies, is another message that is printed on the leaflet. For as long as the most vocal segment of the people continues to advocate for the concept of holding national elections and gatherings, the latter will continue to be nothing more than a mere imitation. The Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, Apollinaire Joachim Kyelem de Tambela, made a statement in which he condemned the expensive and ruinous election campaigns, and the convoluted speeches and procedures that are incomprehensible to the majority. He made this statement in reference to previous elections that took place in his country's 4 republics. It would appear that he favors the democracy, in which traditional societies existed without the practice of using vote boxes. The protracted transition might eventually come to an end with an election that does not involve participation from all eligible voters. Through the constitutional referendum that took place in June 2023, Mali has proved that it continues to offer credibility to ballots that are cast across the entire country. For the interest of democracy, however, should the junta hand over power to corrupt politicians on the condition that they become puppets of the West? According to a statement released by his office, Togolese President Faure Gnassingbe has recently approved a contentious new constitution that does away with the need for presidential elections. According to those who oppose him, this step will enable him to extend the rule that his family has held for the past 6 decades. As a result of the new legislation, the powers to choose the president will be transferred to Parliament, which would eliminate the need for direct elections. The ruling party of Gnassingbe was declared to have gained a majority of seats in the Parliament of the West African nation, according to the announcement made by the Election Commission. Prior to the election, there was a restriction placed on the freedoms of the media and the citizens. It was decided by the administration to prohibit demonstrations against the proposed new constitution and to arrest members of the opposition. The Catholic Church was not permitted to send election observers, as this was prohibited by the Electoral Commission. The arrest, assault, and expulsion of a French journalist who had been in the country to cover the elections took place in the middle of April. After some time, the media regulator in Togo decided to suspend the accreditation procedure for journalists from other countries. In addition, the new constitution extends the term of office for the president from 5 to 6 years and prohibits the president from serving more than one term. The nearly 20 years that Gnassingbe has already been in office, on the other hand, would not be counted towards that total. For the past 57 years, the same family has been in power in the West African nation. Initially, Ibrahim Gnassingbe was the ruler, and then his son took over. In the aftermath of elections that the opposition referred to as a farce, Faure Gnassingbe made his way into office. In a manner that is analogous, two members of the Bongo family of Gabon, namely Omar Bongo and his son Ali Bongo, became presidents of Gabon. They ruled the country from 1967 until the coup d'état that occurred in Gabon in 2023. According to the Pandora Papers and a number of other investigations, the successful revolution in Gabon brought an end to the nearly half a century of uninterrupted dynastic dominance that the Bongo family had been exercising. During this time, the Bongo family had amassed vast riches both domestically and abroad. Despite the fact that Gabon is a country with a middle-income status and a significant oil wealth, at least one-third of the population lives in poverty, and the unemployment rate is quite high. Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon, has successfully completed 42 years in office, making him one of the oldest leaders in the world. He is currently 91 years old. In 1982, he became the new president. His tenure as a leader in Africa is the second longest on the continent. The longest president is Théodore Obiang Nguema of Equatorial Guinea, who has held the position since 1979. Biya's iron grip gave Cameroon a period of political stability that lasted for a considerable amount of time. However, this eventually came to an end when radical Islamists from Nigeria entered the country, and an Anglophone insurrection broke out in the southwest and northwest of the country. In addition, there has been consistent pressure from within the country for Biya to agree to a transition. However, Biya has not yet made a decision regarding whether or not he will step down from his position in 2025, which would mark the conclusion of his seventh term in government. While ECOWAS, the African Union, and other so-called international bodies continue to look on in awe, corrupt politicians in the West African region continue to engage in these unjustified acts under the pretext of democracy. Should the only way to define democracy be through the use of ballot boxes? Should Africa countries continue to be governed by the Western democracy rather than a system which would be suitable to their culture and tradition? Please share your thoughts in the comment below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would like it and subscribe to my channel so that you may be notified when the next video is posted.